Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Burn This Podcast. This is Brandie Posey, the host of Burn This Podcast, founder of Burn This Records, and dog mom, 12-foot skeleton owner, several other things, aunt. Imagine this. You're hearing from me. I'm getting a little Jiminy Glick right now. Imagine this. A new album on the label. This one is from Stephen Taylor. He's an absolute delight of a comic out of Kansas City, Missouri. We met at one of the craziest gigs I've ever done in my life. We get into the story of it in this podcast. It's pretty wild. The album is called The Bottom Half. You got the link in bio. Go on, baby. Pick it up. Enjoy my conversation with Steven.
We don't need no water, let the motherfucker burn.
This podcast.
I think my biggest fear has always been being hacky.
Yeah.
You know, like that to me is like the biggest sin. And as a teacher and somebody who used to be, you know, I kind of like can lean that way. You know, that's like, I think my gut instinct is to be kind of hokey and corny sometimes.
Well, the kids, that's what the kids are looking for. You got your bits, I imagine.
It's
like,
fun to,
bits.
the stereotype is good, you know, but all of my kids, I mean, I had my last job was like mostly American students, but like the job I've done the most is all immigrants and refugees. So like any reference or any like thing in English, like it just doesn't land. There's nothing. So like, yeah, I find myself doing more physical bits like in class, you know, like I'm having to like Mr. Bean it up to get them to
great.
like you know, clicking and then getting a laugh there, dude, fucking rules. Getting a laugh in that environment is like top notch.
I imagine. Well, because not being able to use references, I think would be a good muscle building experience. Because I think like being able to tap into that stuff, it's easy shorthand to kind of get a laugh from just something that people know. But like being like, oh, you guys don't know. I don't even know what a normal kid would know. What's the dog? The kids like that?
What's the dog? What's any dog? What is their dog right now? If we say Clifford, no, that's our dog.
No, that's our dog. What's the current? It's like the
That's
Australian dog. I don't know.
Bluey.
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 Bluey is the kids, right? The kids love Bluey. I'm such an aunt, but like masquerading as an
Yeah,
uncle.
that's where I'm at. I mean, I would say the kids love Bluey, and then I'd be like, "Oh, you know how kids are. You guys love Bluey," and they're like, "We fucking hate Bluey. We've never like." You're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. It moves so quick." Yeah, you can't. I was talking about this with another buddy. Is like comedy used to be so referential. It used to be boom, 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 boom. That was like the thing for like 6 years. Like when the Lumineers were big, is when everybody was dropping you know, whatever postmodern meta ass reference they could try and muster. And I don't think I've ever had a huge practice with that muscle because like I think being in the South, you're missing references immediately just because you're kind of like disconnected from like as popular culture, alternative culture. Like my alternative was Sublime. Like in my high school, that was like, whoa, this kid's a fucking freak. You know, he's like, and this guy's off the wall. So I do think there's like, you don't have to like, I know more references than most people know. And then when I moved to Kansas City is when I was like, I don't know that many fucking references. I don't have anything. And then I talk to these kids and I'll be like, you guys know Kim Kardashian? And they're like, who? You're like, okay, well, if I can't do Kim Kardashian, I'm not gonna get Kanye, they got nothing.
That's so funny.
Kanye isn't even a person to them, and I'm so jealous to live in a world where you don't think about Kanye.
What a dream, honestly. The kids are gonna be all right. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of really bad stuff working against them right now, but to not know what Kanye is, I have a problem where like every probably week and a half, I just will picture him on the Alex Jones show with his like net and Yoo-hoo bottle. And I just go, that's the craziest thing that ever happened. And that's the moment that everything broke. Did you know about this?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And the moment everything broke is an idea that I'm kind of fascinated with
Yeah.
because I'm a big Community fan, not to get
Mhm.
referential after
Oh.
shitting on references, but the Darkest Timeline
Yeah.
is something that I really I'm like, when did we flip the dice and when did it land and when did we
Mhm.
get here? Because it does feel like there
Yeah.
was a moment, and that's because it's probably easier than being like, yeah, it's a slow degradation over time and society wilters,
Yeah.
over a course of a generation.
Do you
But I do think like there's got to be one like I think that's a contender for what
mhm.
is the moment. I think God, dude, what's the one? We were talking about, I just had this conversation with another friend of mine, and I can't think. Kanye comes up is like kind of like at the crux of a
Yeah.
lot of them.
Yeah.
Like
He really
Kanye
is like
continues to
a
be him on TMZ.
that's a big one. He really is like a there's a weird moments in time that he is like a canary in the coal mine of where we're going or whatever. It's like,
Yeah, he
uh-oh.
is like
Yeah.
a predictor of the zeitgeist. Yeah, he
Yeah.
is like it is.
Hmm.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah,
We're
I
all gonna be sucking
know.
our cousins' dicks. We're
I
all gonna be.
know. It's a fucking
Have
bummer,
you
dude.
heard that song?
No, I know about it. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet though. Is it what
It
is it?
you're an aunt. How old are your
Yeah.
nieces, nephews, whatever?
5 and 2 or six, about to be
It
6 and 2.
sounds like a song that they would make
Okay.
if they knew how to say, I sucked my cousin's dick until I was 14. Like it's exactly the song a 5-year-old would make if they had the
Perfect.
vocabulary to say
Wow.
that.
Man, and honestly, my brother is not a listener, but shout out to him for not giving my nieces the vocabulary to do such a thing.
Great, great
Yeah.
parent.
Great
And not
parent.
giving them access to auto tune. Probably a little
No,
too early for auto tune.
a little bit. I think you should have to mature a little bit to
Give
before
them
you
drums,
really.
give them guitars.
Yes,
Auto tune's too
a
easy.
tactile instrument. Big fan. Big fan of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A harmonica, great.
Yeah. Do you listen to Trillbilly Workers Party? Have you ever listened to that podcast? It's like
Oh
a
no, not no.
okay. It's like a couple of like leftist guys from Whitesburg, Kentucky, and Louisville. Delightful, love them.
Nice.
But one of them, this guy Terrence Ray, has his theory is that we are actually all simulations in one of Trump's dreams. Like we're just in his subconscious dreamland is what we're living in basically. Like so he
Okay.
actually is the main character and we're just all part of a Truman show of his dreams.
Great. Was there a moment where that portal opens up, like him at the State of the Union, or is this just something that collectively, since he's been born,
Hmm.
we've been a part of his consciousness?
I
Because I
mean,
think both
yeah.
are plausible at this
Well,
point.
it's interesting because it's like to me, we're all connected in and the way that I see it the most is when I'm driving around LA and I see everyone looking at their phones and not hitting each other. Um, and there's more accidents than there's ever been, but I also see no one is looking at the road. I don't know if you see this in Kansas City at all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but so to me, I'm like, that is the biggest sign that we are all connected in a subconscious way because we should just constantly be getting in accidents. And there aren't more.
Yeah, we are all evolving together. You know what else I've noticed? And maybe this is because all of my friends are now over 30, but
Yeah.
like everybody has bad eyesight. And it's
Yeah.
gotta be. Everybody I know is like, God, my eyes are bad. I have ADHD.
Hmm.
I'm autistic.
Yep.
I'm gay, and
Yeah.
I can't see. These are all
Yes.
of my friends now.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I think we are all connected. And it's when I do mushrooms, that's what it tells me. But also, we've got to be evolving to
Hmm.
have like great, we've always had good peripheral vision, but
Yeah.
now I bet this peripheral vision is not, I bet over here, I bet like side to side is like
Hmm.
locked in from just this, from just head into phone,
Hmm.
looking as close as you can get with your eyes, and then just directly out to either side. I bet that's all we've got now.
Yeah.
We're phasing out anything else. Uh, and now, like, yeah, our brains, that's the other thing. Like, have you seen these Have you hung out with a kid that wasn't on a phone? Have you like a kid that is on a phone who like had not? Have you watched them? Have you watched it like course through their veins?
Oh,
Have
like
you watched them
the
shake?
withdrawal. I have not seen that. I
Yes.
have not seen that. My brother, the good parent, is actually very they're very good with my nieces with that stuff. And I'm not around enough other kids to have been around the withdrawal phase, but I know it exists because I've read articles about
It,
it.
well, and I have it. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Oh
like
yeah.
a pretty high screen time a
Hmm.
day type of dude. So when I go off of it, you know, there
Yeah.
are unless I'm like walking or, you know,
Hmm.
I'm going to an amusement park or a zoo, you know, if I'm
Yeah.
not actively doing something, then I feel it too. But you watch a kid and it's like, holy shit, this is
Yeah.
like they're riding the dragon every day. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Pretty wild.
and to think that like yeah, you watch kids shake and
Wow.
fume at the mouth, and you're like, yeah, we all are connected. We're all going through this together. We're also
Hmm.
all evolving in like insanely kind of horrific ways.
Yeah.
And they're also the most powerful people on the world right now. And
Yeah.
like it's like, okay, this is great. This is
Yeah.
everything's set up for success. And I don't know when that happened. I hope it's a part of Trump's dream. I
I hope
hope
it
that it's
is.
like maybe when he dies, it's all over.
I
It
would
would
love that to.
suck if it got passed down.
It's interesting because it's also like I have always been a I view him as like this like American tulpa that he is like actually like a the Dorian Gray of our sins as a people. Like he is like
Uh-huh.
that's what he is for us. So like and that is not a to say I obviously don't like him or anything, but I don't like feel this intense hatred I think that some people do because I'm like, well, yes, this is us. So the problem is us.
Right.
You know, it's also him, but this is a representation of us.
When I was like a diehard conservative, I took like these college classes and I had this political professor and I remember I would just bitch about the government and bitch about the government and bitch
Yeah.
because that's just what you're told. You
Yeah,
know, you're just
yeah.
like it's the government. My mom gave me Glenn Beck books when I was growing up.
My dad's bought me a
Uh,
Bill O'Reilly book one time.
how old were you?
About 10 years ago, actually, probably 29, 30. Yeah. He's
I
trying to
feel
piss
like
me
that's a
off.
respectable age to get a Bill O'Reilly book. I feel like that's
Yeah.
your dad being like, yeah, I really just think you need a 401k.
Yeah.
You know, if you could just, do you have stock options? That's what a Bill O'Reilly book in your 30s
Yeah, yeah.
says. My mom got it for me in high school, which is kind of like, yeah, I
Oh,
don't want you to have sex. I don't want you to like, I don't want any of this to be
yeah.
good for you. And I really took to it, but I remember in college, having a professor who just listened to me bitch and listened to me bitch. And this dude was really smart, like one of the smarter people I'd ever met.
Mhm.
And he like, it was a political philosophy class. So it was about the foundations of your government and politic in general.
Mhm.
And he was just like, dude, your government, if this is your government is a reflection of you.
Yeah.
And like it's a reflection of all of us. So when we complain about the government, if it's a government by the people, and if you actually believe that, then your only answer is that it is our fault. So like I agree with you that I don't have this
Yeah.
hatred towards Trump in the same way that I mean I hate him. I really
Yeah, yeah.
don't like
No,
the
yeah.
guy. But just like the surface level, mine is a much more deep-seated hate. It's a hatred for myself.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of in that level. It's like, oh fuck, how did we let it get this far? But the
Yeah.
hatred I have for Stephen Miller, that knows no bounds.
Yes.
That is a light that shines all across. Trump, I feel like I can relate to more. Stephen Miller, I feel like a truly like just disgusting human being on every. Have you seen that video of him in high school being like, "We shouldn't have to pick up the trash because we have people that we pay to do it." And I can never tell how much of it is like pro wrestling. Were you a pro wrestling fan at
Yeah.
all?
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. Loved it.
I see. That's the other thing. Like I watched that Vince McMahon documentary and I'm like, dude, this all just seems like it's just yeah, it's Christian. Yeah, dude, you know who loves pro wrestling? Christians. Southern Baptist. We're like, but the easy to listen, it's the
Mhm.
soap, you know, it's the turn on, get nothing and feel
Yeah.
everything.
Hmm.
And it's addictive. It's TikTok. It's exactly, I mean, it's all like the same shit, it's what they've been saying about America the whole time. It's good to know that the prophecy has been foretold. We will sacrifice quality for convenience. And here we are. And,
Every
and that's why
time,
we're
amen.
promoting this special.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, thank you for pulling it around. I love that.
I grew up a very evangelical Christian conservative because in the South, you have to. If you're a man in the South and you're not an evangelical Christian conservative, they call you a pussy. And that used to hurt. I was toxic. Masculinity. But then I learned what pussies were. You can call me a pussy. Pussies are cool. You know what I mean? Pussies are strong. Yeah. Pussies are slimy. That's me. 3 for 3. Cool, strong, and slimy. Tinder bio. That's exactly. I was a big, diehard Christian. I became a Christian in high school. I don't know if anybody else in here made that bad decision. Take the coolest time in your life and dedicate it to the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Because I didn't even get to say that I was raised in it. I didn't even get to blame that. It was all, I chose it. Me. Because I was trying to fuck a Christian in high school. They're not going to be unequally yoked. You got to commit. And it worked. I got in there. But then the Lord got in here. Fucking no. Whoopsie. Get out of there, Jesus. That's not what I came for. Yeah, thinking back, that I don't know if she was that good or if God is actually real. But I committed my life to Christ. We call that missionary pussy where I come from. I gave up everything. And this is, whatever you are, be whatever you are. Just don't be what I was. What I was somebody I'm not. What Christianity did to me is it turned me into somebody that I never was. It made me want to pretend to be something different. I became what my friends called a Shiite Christian. Not a lot of Muslim studies majors in the house. I stopped doing everything. I stopped drinking. I stopped smoking weed. I stopped watching porn. I stopped listening to secular music. That's a phrase I know. No porn, no secular music. I'm just in my bedroom trying not to jerk off, listening to K-Love all the time. I'm just like, you got to open the eyes of my heart, God, because my dick is awake.
We only met like once, right? When we did that.
We met once at a sex club, which
Yep.
needs context.
Yes.
Needs a lot of context.
Slightly more context. We were both doing a comedy show in Indianapolis at a sex club.
Old church, great sex club, great comedy venue.
Frankly, a delightful,
weird audience.
Yeah, weird audience. I've never had somebody outwardly being fingered during my set before, but I can say that now. So, did I avoid? I've never avoided eye contact with an audience, but I would like flit around and be like, just enough, get off of them before they get off to you. Was kind of my
yes, yeah.
My feelings there, yeah.
I've never been foreplay at a show before. I mean, I definitely probably have. There's been like horny couples,
yeah.
But it felt like I was there as kind of a meal that was never going to be eaten. I felt like fruit at a Super Bowl party.
Yes.
People were just kind of walking by and being like, okay, all right, yeah, there are going to be some people. Yeah, people are going to be getting their hands dirty. Okay, this is going to be fun. They're responsible. Like they were like, oh yeah, it's dinner and a show and sex, and they didn't care about anything except for the sex. And I was like, I mean, you seem like you're having a good time. People sounded like they were having a good time. They laughed, they moaned, it was amazing. The stage was bouncy. It felt like kind of a wrestling ring. What was amazing was them being like, don't talk about it.
Yes.
Which is crazy. To be like, don't talk about it. You're like, how can I not?
Your instincts. Completely.
Yeah, I am glad they told me because I would have talked about it the entire, and they said they were nice. Like, I think I made jokes. They were just like, don't make fun of them, which I get. Yeah, dude, absolutely. What do we get paid? Like $125? Whatever. Something. It was worth it.
No, absolutely worth it. I had one of the strangest audience interactions at that club too, because I was like, I don't even know if I talked to anybody about it that night, but I was in the back. out of the room, like near where our green room was, which was just a room with a bunch of sheets in beds on it. And
We had
I
a
was,
green room.
well, we had a room that they were like, you guys can be
Oh, that
here.
you can look in the mirror. Yeah, there was a
Yeah,
mirror
yeah.
in there. Yes, I
Mhm.
do remember that now.
Yes.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah. And I was just like, I was going last and I was just like, all right, let me figure out what the fuck I do that they would like. So I'm looking at my notebook out there and this like pair of feet walks up next to me. And,
yeah.
and this like man just says, "Oh, not a fan of comedy." And I look over and it's a completely naked man, like ripped naked dude standing next to me. And I was like, uh, it's a complicated answer. That question is a complicated answer. If I am I a fan of comedy right now? I don't
Right.
know because is this where I thought I would be at 15 years in? I don't know. Like I'm like headlining like a sex club in Indianapolis. Like I'm not upset about it, but also man, and I was like I'm going up in like 5 minutes. You can watch that and find out. And he was like, okay. And then he just disappeared into a room and I never saw him again for the rest of the night. But just had like
Probably
a
best.
yeah, totally, totally fine. It was so funny because it was just like this, hey, what are you just not a fan of comedy? Is why you're not watching? And I was like, I am listening, but I am also trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. But it was just
To
like,
think somebody would be at the sex club
hmm
clothed,
hmm
writing in a notebook
yeah,
at the comedy show who's
yeah,
not a fan of comedy
yes,
is
yeah,
wild. But also the balls to walk up and
yeah,
completely naked is like
totally naked was crazy.
because there I feel like there were some people who were clothed and were like, we're
Yeah,
gonna get naked
mhm,
in the
yeah,
in the
later,
rooms.
fully naked man, and it
It
was
was fun.
shocking. It was because it was like I have not. I was like, oh shit, I haven't just seen like a different dick in years. This is kind of crazy. Okay, weird. Okay, weird. Okay.
Yeah, and such a brazen, not in a sexual way
No,
either, and like
no.
just oh, that is okay. There is that's how I felt too. It's like going to an
Yeah,
all nude strip club. You're like, what are
yeah,
you doing?
yeah.
This is not. That's not.
No,
I didn't think that you could just have that.
yeah.
I,
No, it was
I,
strange. And to his, I will say to his credit, he just was like, "Oh, she's like not interested in speaking to me," and he just like walked away. And
that's got to be everybody I know that's into sex clubs or into anything like that. I
mhm,
would say like every person I know
yeah,
is the most progressive
yeah,
person where it's like, oh yeah, I've never had a bad experience with
yeah,
that person.
mhm,
Uh, it is interesting, and I think a testament to how much shame fucks everything up.
mhm.
That if you can just get past it and be like, yeah, it's not really that big. Because I did leave that club being like, oh, I could go to a sex club now.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to.
No, yeah.
Uh, there's nothing that's like, oh God, we gotta go
Mhm.
there. But oh, I could, yeah, if that's what somebody I was with was into,
Sure.
it
Yeah.
wasn't like the strangest experience. It was a little surreal. It was funny to watch comics get picked.
Yes, that was the fucking best. It was hilarious. I was like, oh, okay.
We were all so happy. We were all just like, yes, yes, yes.
You got this.
They'll buy your wristband. Should I do it? And all of us are like, yeah, dude, go.
Please.
If you're thinking about it, if
Yeah.
you're like, oh, should I? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you should.
Yes.
If you are like, I don't know about this, then no. But like
Yes.
the
Yeah.
energy was like, I don't know, this could be fun. It's like, buddy, you gotta fly.
No, yeah. If you need our permission, permission granted. Please go right ahead. Everyone's
Yeah,
happy
go
for
onto one
you.
of these little prison cots and go to town, bud.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Have
do,
some popcorn.
yeah, just do your laundry afterwards. That was the biggest
A sex,
takeaway.
yeah, yeah. A sex club that smells like popcorn is, God, dude, that whole place. I really do want to go back.
Yeah.
I wanna go see what they're up to. Surely the exact same.
I mean,
Surely things haven't changed that much.
I imagine time is standing still at the Indianapolis Sex Club.
I
Like,
know about naked shows. I know about
yeah,
nudist shows.
yeah.
But I've never done one where you could just hear somebody having sex.
No.
To their credit, like the walls were thick. It wasn't like
Yeah.
super noticeable. But
No. Mm-mm.
if you ever had a downtime in your set, that was what I learned was you cannot give them
No.
any silence.
That was a full I was like, every rowdy bar show I've done has prepared me for the sex club set because
Yes.
you can't take the throttle off at all because if you give them an inch, they will lose interest and then you will not get them back.
Yeah, they've got enough
Yeah.
inches to worry about already. They don't need any more. They're going to take what they can get.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep your inches to yourself.
Please, God, I'm not interested. I'm interested in comedy. I'm not interested in whatever this is. I love that because if any comedian came up to you and was like, not interested in comedy, you'd be like, no. And then somebody walks up and it's just hog out, and you're like, maybe, yeah, no. I love it. I love it. It's the best. I love comedy, and I'm going to be performing. Please,
Yeah, I'm
please
in a
put your
different
pants on.
I'm in a mindset right now. I can't be thinking about you. I got to figure out if my BuzzFeed material is going to go over well with this.
Yeah. Not a big fan of comedy, huh? And you're just like, listen, do you think these people know what Harry Potter house they are?
Yeah,
Do you
I
think they're gonna
working right now. I am at work.
do you have a cigarette? A naked man.
Hey everybody, breaking into the podcast with a really cool update that I'm super proud to bring you. We here at Burn This Record are going to be on Warped Tour this summer. We have 7 comics from the label that are on the 3 different Warped Tour weekends that are coming up this summer. So if you are in Washington, D.C. on June 14th and 15th, Long Beach, California, July 26th or 27th, and Orlando, Florida on November 15th or 16th, come out. We have a guest list. We have an amazing lineup of comics. It is myself, Brandie Posey, Anna Valenzuela, Kristen Leidy, Joanne Schinderly, Lisa Curry, Zach Peterson, and Kevin Casey White. 6 of my absolute favorite comedians. I'm so stoked to get to perform at Warped Tour, a place that really shaped me as a young little DIY punk kid, and getting to do comedy there is actually a dream come true. So if you are in DC, Long Beach, or Orlando this year, hit me up. I'll comp you. Come hang out. All right, back to the show.
You would think less porn and less secular music would make your search history less cringy. But I still get shower shudders about the shit I Googled when I was a senior in high school. Shower shudders. When you're in a shower, minding your own business, disassociating from the entire world, and then every horrific thing that's ever happened in your life is like, did you fucking forget? And you're like, I've been trying. Just standing in the shower, it's perfect, everything's good, and then you're just like, remember the first time you showed a girl your dick and she said, is that it? I get that about the shit I Googled. I remember typing in on dial-up internet. I typed in the phrase, Christian alternatives to Sublime. No, God, no. Not this again. That's a dark spot. I don't know. That is a cry for help. Google came back and was like, did you mean Sugar Ray? I said, no, Google. They introduced me to a band called Christafari. Real band that exists. You don't have to know them to know them. 3 white dudes, a bunch of dreadlocks, a couple horns. They do reggae covers of Amazing Grace. It's pretty bad. And all of it's bad. It was never going to be what I wanted because what I wanted was something it could never give me. I wanted Sublime. I was a stoner before I was a Christian. I wanted everything that Sublime had. I just wanted to feel better about myself. Everything about Sublime was great to me. A hip-hop ska crossover that nobody ever asked for. A fat bassist. I love a fat bassist. I was big into Bowling for Soup. I like hip-hop and ska. I like a fat bassist. I wanted the Dalmatian. Give me everything about Sublime. All I wanted was for Bradley to love Jesus Christ as much as he loved heroin. That's all I wanted. I just wanted Sublime cover songs about the Lord, if I'm honest with you. I just wanted them to change it a little bit. I liked all the vibes. I just wanted somebody to be up there just to be like, Christ is what I got. Do you remember that? Just somebody out there like, I don't practice Santeria. That is a pagan religion.
I saw like a meme the other day that was God, I hate that. I'm explaining a meme on a podcast. You gotta love it. It was like a girl looking at a picture of Marx being like, thank you for ruining everything and making me not the unfun one in every conversation. I finally understand how the world works, or something like that. And it was just like, yeah, just honestly, kudos to us for being leftists and actually still being funny, because there's so much shit that you're just like, oh, that's not how that works. That's not why that's the way that it is.
I find myself not being funny. Like it's been, my comedy is better than it's ever been, and I'm writing jokes better than I've ever written, like stuff that I'm really proud of, that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to really hone this in on the road. And at the same time, every video I go to make, everything I go to do, I look back, I'll watch it back and be like, what the fuck, dude? I have to like stop every video and be like, I'm just so angry. I like get so frustrated, and I do have to catch myself. There's nothing better than like being on stage where it's like, oh, we are all here together and I can see you, whether I'm in a pool hall in Missouri or some college coffee shop in Lawrence or theater in Lincoln. Like I can see the different groups of people, and it helps you like walk the line and just want to entertain. But if you put a camera on me, like if you weren't here right now, all I'd be doing is ranting. I can't like it takes
No,
I
know.
I need connection to have that joke for me. It's been a struggle, and I do see that, because you don't want to be that I've got too many leftists that I know, and this is what I always make a joke about, is that I hate that I've joined a losing team. Like it sucks being on, like watching the Bad News Bears and being like, yeah, I want to get in on that. It's been a bummer, because it is, you see how the world works, you understand the problems with it, but also you just get that same, I had this the first Trump, I think, when I was leaving the church and looking for something new to be self-righteous about. I kind of had, dude, I was burning every friendship I had ever had just because I was trying to be like funny. But that was making fun of them. It's kind of going back to what we were talking about in the first place, is like, I was so much more antagonistic, roasting, and all of that stuff is stuff that I'm ultimately good at. But when I look back at it, I'm like, I don't find that funny. The same way that when I watch a crowd work clip that's got like 100 million views, and it's like, just somebody being like, oh, you're in a wheelchair, is it hard to walk? You're like, wow, great, wonderful, this is revolutionary shit. It's like, I don't have a problem with it from a moral standpoint anymore. I just don't think that it's like good and valuable, and that's kind of the thing that I'm looking for, is like, oh, what's adding value to this?
Yes. No, I definitely can feel that with comedy sometimes. We're like, why the fuck am I talking about this? Who cares? Who cares? What is this doing?
And then you'll watch somebody who isn't talking about anything.
Yeah.
And isn't helping, and everybody in the room is having the time of their fucking life. And you're like, okay, I can see it. Okay. It makes me, if they're laughing, it matters. And if they're laughing in the wrong way, then you have to own that on your own. You just have to live with that. And if you're a person who can live with that, fucking great.
Well, and
I just have a hard time.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way there. And it is important just to remember, like, people just like need a break sometimes, and like, and it's like worth thinking so much deeper on what the nature of a laugh and all this stuff is. And most people are like, I have like 3 side hustles and I am spending my little income on this show that I actually can on my own entertainment. I'm here to have a good time. I don't care what is said to make me laugh because I just like need the release of it. And that's
Right.
valid,
And
you know?
I, yeah, and I think like I never really blame the audience because
Yeah.
again, it's the same thing you're saying. It's a reflection of us
Hmm.
and comedians kind of the same way. What I'm always shocked by is like, oh, are you happy with this? Like, is
Hmm.
this like what makes you feel good? Do you go home and think, wow, I really did something today. And if
Yeah.
your only goal is to make somebody laugh, and as a comedian who my goal is to make people laugh and to feel proud of
Hmm.
something that I produced, I do think there are people who are like, hey, people wanted a break. I gave them a break. That was all that it is. And when I watch those people have a break, I'm like, damn, dude, that does look pretty
Yeah.
nice. It does look like you are. I watched a show where the closer now is just farming clips.
Hmm.
So they'll do 45 minutes of kind of crowd work, kind of bits, but then they're like bringing people on stage. They're doing like
Hmm.
these like crazy games, all so they can have 4 cameras on it and get these crazy viral moments. And there's a big piece of me for a while. I was like just pretty bitter, and I was like, I hate this guy should die. There's like
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
piece of me.
Yes. Yes. Same.
And then I watched it and I was like, I found myself being like, whoa,
Yeah.
oh, okay, this is kind of fun to get wrapped in it. And I think as comics, sometimes we get a little too up our own ass about like, oh, what's a good joke? I watch new comics, and the biggest mistake, I'm watching all these submission videos for this festival right now.
Hmm.
The biggest mistake I see is you're just thinking too hard about a joke.
Yeah.
You're not just what's going to make everybody laugh. Like, get to the joke.
Hmm.
What's funny about this, and just it doesn't have to be the smartest thing you've ever thought of. It doesn't have to be the mathiest puzzle joke to fit together. Like, can you just get a room full of people to laugh is something that I feel like comics kind of lose because they want to talk about something that nobody's tread on, which is why they get into like you hear about like new comics being super blue,
Hmm.
you know. I was there too, but you
Yeah.
watch it whenever you get back and you're like, oh yeah, you're just trying too hard. Like that's all you're really putting it on.
I definitely went through like an aren't I clever phase like early in comedy like
Hmm.
that was for sure like a thing that I had to kind of like which is it comes from fear too. That's like oh, I'm not willing to be vulnerable yet, so I need you to know that I think that I am the most clever person in the room right now. So it's a defense mechanism, and it's just like getting to a point that you can strip all that stuff away just to be like, well, this is who I am. Like whatever.
Right.
I'll
Well,
go
and
from
the
here.
most clever person in the room is not usually the one that you're like, God, I want to hang out with them. I want to listen
No.
to it's like
Yeah.
there's a reason Mark Twain was a writer,
Yeah.
It's like
Yes.
and I think that like yeah, it's such I have like math jokes that I'll look back on and kind of cringe at,
Hmm.
but there is still a piece of me that's like, I bet I could figure it out. I bet I could piece them together. What's going to make that
Yeah.
puzzle snap and get them to laugh?
The Deep South, it's a different animal. It's not good. Like when I moved up here, I started to realize like, oh, all of my family members are problems. When you leave the South, all you realize is leaving the South means that everybody you know and love loves a lot of shit you hate. That's all it means, you know? I started realizing that if I ever agreed with something that my uncle posted, that I had to like rethink my reality. You ever do that? You ever put out a post and then your dad is like, hell yeah, and you're like, oh, let me rethink this. Let me dial that one back a little bit. It was just like a different, it's a different area. My family would post these memes on Facebook. I moved up here in 2016, tumultuous time. And I remember my uncle posted this meme that was like, you can have black power, but you can't have white power. What's up with that? Worst Seinfeld joke in history. And I had to explain it, because when you're a millennial, white millennial, you gotta like sit down with your problematic family members and try to talk to them. And I was like, Uncle Ricky, there's a very big difference between black power and white power. Like, say I had a black friend, hypothetically speaking. Say I had a black friend. If I took Terrence to a barbecue, Terrence shows up, one of my uncles stands up and is like, white power. I'm going to have to look at Terrence and be like, we got to get the fuck out of here. It's not going to end well for either of us. I brought you here. But if Terrence takes me to a cookout, and for whatever reason, an uncle stands up and was like, black power, wouldn't that be crazy? Is that what y'all are doing? Is that why y'all are having so much fun? But if one of his uncles stood up and was like, black power, like I might feel a little awkward, but you know, like they're not going to let me leave without getting potato salad. They're not going to kick my ass. Little subtle differences, you know? And that's what a lot of people in the South believe, is this reverse racism thing. They're like, you can get black power, but not white power. That's what my family hated, reverse racism. If you don't know what that is, I'll give you an example. Every year we had the National Black Rodeo come through town. And every year my grandma would say the same shit. She would just go, well, Stephen, what if we had the National White Rodeo? People would call us racist. And I can remember being 11 and being like, we have every other rodeo. We can let them have a rodeo. I think, a rodeo? Yeah, a rodeo. My family hated BET. I grew up on BET. I loved BET. And I have a very distinct memory of my grandmother coming in to my room while I was watching BET, and she goes, what is that? And I was like, it's BET. And I explained to her what it stood for, and she just goes, well, what if we had white entertainment television channel? And I was like, what? You can't name a television channel wet. Grandma, it's not, you're not going to get that on cable. Plus, we already had the white entertainment television. We had CMT. Country music television. Caucasian music television. That was our FUBU. I love that y'all laughed. This white mother back there, no fucking clue. She's got no. Yeah, no. I love you so much. FUBU stands for For Us, By Us, and that's how I got into the cookout that one time. That's how I...
Were you still married when you started doing stand-up?
Yeah, so we were engaged.
Oh, okay.
And I moved up here by myself for like 6 months. So I started comedy in those 6 months. Started comedy like the day I moved up here.
Was that the intention to, like, when you moved to Kansas City, I want to be a stand-up, I'm starting this thing, or?
Yeah, I read Sick in the Head kind of leading up to it, which is that Judd Apatow book of interviews. And then I was writing a bunch of what I guess you could qualify as jokes. And knew that I was moving up. There was just nothing in North Louisiana. Like in my college town, there was no open mic. There was nothing. And so when I moved up here, I was moving up here and I'd looked up, oh, there's a comedy club, there's blah, blah, blah. I'll go to that. And then the day I moved up here, my truck got stolen. Like the day. Yeah. And all of my notes were in it. And so I remember just going to the open mic and not knowing what to say. So I just talked about the venue and getting my car stolen. And so that was I just kind of learned what riffing was. Yeah. You know, that was just kind of like, I don't have any notes. I'm just kind of like free balling it. And it went okay. Mm-hmm. And then I never I was like 5 to 6 nights a week.
Mm.
And yeah, when my wife moved up here, she didn't stand a chance. We still like her and I are cool now.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
we'll sit and talk, and uh, it was always like, yeah, this is what I'm doing, and never with the intention of like, hey, this is actually that was part of what kind of like killed the marriage is it became like, hey, you need to quote unquote make it. Hey, how can you how
Hmm.
that was my mindset, that was her, and then that was
Hmm.
like it's never why I got into it. And
Yeah.
yeah, it just stand up really is no, you have to find somebody who really gets it, I think,
Yeah.
is like the only way to make it feasible. And even then it seems like it's really fucking hard. It's tough to be gone that much. Like I'm
Yeah.
looking at 2 months. June and July I'll be gone the entire. I mean, I
Hmm.
think I'm back for like 5 days total.
Yeah.
Like, for me and my girlfriend now, like it's like we started. The good thing is we started dating once I had been doing comedy. So there is no like, wait, what is this? We were engaged. Now you're doing stand-up comedy. Okay, what does that mean for the rest of my future that I've planned? Like hey, this is exactly what you're getting into,
Yeah, and
which I
you
feel
can
like
kind of
helps.
know too, like what, like, hey, this is like how this affects the relationship and how I need to like, you know, make up for that in certain ways, or also be like what your expectations need to be, and like, I mean, my boyfriend's a comic writer and a musician, and like I'm always of the fan of like when I'm gone, do what you got to do. Like I want you to also have creative space, and because a relationship takes so much energy, even when it's like at its best too. Because it's like there's this thing that's us, and I think it's also important to be like, but there's also these two things that are also us separately, and they deserve to be nurtured as well.
I feel like something that's helped us is she took a clay class. I hate art. God, I
Mm.
hate art. I
Oh,
hate painting. I hate cutting. I hate folding. I hate cooking.
it's funny. I have because on my calendar thing, I have Burn This Podcast, Stephen Taylor, and then I have hates art because you mentioned this to me. And I was like, I'm gonna come back
I
around.
talked to you about the clay thing?
Yeah, I mean, not the clay thing specifically.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, look at this.
you told me that you hated art, and I was like, we gotta get to what the hell that means.
Yeah. I love art museums. I
Uh-huh.
like seeing what other people have done. But when it comes to actually creating art with my hands,
Hmm.
I get so much anxiety. If you put a pair of scissors in my hands right now, I could have a panic attack. And I'm not like an anxious person.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I really I feel like I have big, stupid hands and I fuck it all up and it's never what I wanted. If I cook, I'm like, this is okay. And if it sucks, I can't do anything with it. But she took that clay class and I don't know. That's clicked for me. I've been like I just started playing with clay and I was like, oh hey,
Mm.
whoa, this is fun. And now I've got like a bunch of little things. We took a class together, and that has been really fun for me. To
Mm.
do. I have my creative thing. She has her creative things, and then she can go do clay. I can go do clay. But to be able to do that together
Yeah.
and just have fun playing, like being like getting her feedback on, hey, how do you think I should build this
Hmm.
thing that does not fucking matter? Like it
Yeah.
could not mean less in the world. And that part has been like pretty rewarding. And it gives me something to look forward to when I come back home besides watching another episode of TV or playing
Totally.
video game. Like I love all that stuff, but it feels like kind of a different element. We're like, oh yeah, do you want to play? You want to go make something? That's fun.
Hmm.
I don't know. Are you like an
Mm.
artistic person? If you documented I hate art, is that because you're like you love doing it?
I do, but yeah, I always have because I get very I have a lot of perfectionist tendencies, and art is a place that like I can really work on that without needing to like and I've been successful there, and I think it's made me better in other parts because I'm just like, yeah, I'm just playing. It's remembering what playing is. Because I remember being like, I played softball forever. I remember playing softball in third or fourth grade, and my coach being like, you smile out there sometimes. Like you are so
Yeah.
intense, because you want to do it right the entire time. And like art and I've taken watercolor classes. Like I've learned to oil paint when I was a kid. Like I do a lot of stuff. I like designing, like you can see my wall behind me. Like I like decor
Hmm.
and stuff like that. Um, and it's like a thing that just doesn't I can get away from that perfectionist part of myself with it. And that is very helpful because I can be very, very hard on myself otherwise. And it's given that is a way that I'm able to be easier about it.
Yeah, I think that's where I feel with clay. I'm like, okay, this just kind of goes as it goes.
Hmm.
There's some control I have, but at the end of the day, this is like its own thing. And when I get to like painting or gift wrapping, that's when my perfectionism like
Mm,
amps up to a million. I'm like, I can see every crease and everything that's like inherently wrong with this. And maybe if I took a class, I would feel, I don't know, a different type of way about it. But I remember art class in elementary school just gave me hives almost.
mm,
It was kind of the opposite of play to me. It was that you're getting graded
okay.
for this, and can you make this, function? Or like in English class, they would make you do like foldable things to remember the theme of the story, and it'd be like,
Hmm.
and mine always looked like a fucking ball. It'd be like this
Yeah.
cube that everybody else's is perfect and tucked in, and mine's like kind of wrapped in tape and stupid. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice to just when you're playing with clay to be like, yeah, this is just kind of what it is. It's not exactly how I imagined it going, but I like it, it's fun.
That's cool.
It looks cool. Yeah.
I took a ceramics class during COVID where it's like over Zoom. We were doing like hand building stuff and
That's what, yeah.
yeah, it was a delight. I like want to go to like I've never done any of like the with the wheel. Have you done any wheel stuff?
So
On the
that's the class that she was taking, and then I got to just touch it. I didn't like get in
Yeah.
there, but I just like real quick, just kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, oh fuck that.
Yeah.
That that's good. But I
Yeah.
also think doing it at the studio is night and day different than like doing it. Like we're trying to build a Catan board, a
Mm,
ceramic like Catan board at our
nice.
house. And it's fun, but there's just not a lot of space and you're in your house. Like it's hard
Yeah.
for me to be like
Hmm.
creative here.
Yeah.
And I don't have the materials here. I don't have room. And so
Hmm.
when we go to the studio and I get to like really lay stuff out and kind of like get a grasp of it, I think this Catan board's taken us like 2.5 months. I think I made like three different figurines in like 4 weeks when I was at the studio. So I
Yeah.
think that's a goal for me is to try and find another spot because my comedy got way better.
Yeah.
Like I wrote so many more jokes. I was a lot more level-headed. I felt like more in the moment on stage.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm now pro art. Okay. You can put that down in your little
Ma
notebook.
change it in the calendar.
Yeah.
Hated
Loves art.
loves art. I'll say loves clay.
Loves clay. Hates scissors. It's mainly scissors. I think my biggest enemy is scissors.
I love that. I am changing this on my calendar because it'll be fun to see someday. Well, hates scissors. I have little jokes that, man, I'm so type A. I have jokes like that my calendar all over the place. Like I'll have like anniversaries with friends and stuff that pop up. I remember when all the Brett Kavanaugh stuff was going down and everybody was making fun of him having this detailed
You're
ass
like, oh,
calendar. I was like, oh no, am I bad? Should I not be doing this? I love it.
you're the Brett Kavanaugh of comedy, and I'm happy that we're working together.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the idea of you. You're like, oh fuck, no, is this going to be a problem? And then you open it up and it's Brett Kavanaugh's birthday with a little inside joke you two had. You're like,
Exactly. I'm just like, oh God.
you're to
Well,
Brett Kavanaugh like I am to Mike Johnson. You're just going to call him up, be like, Brett, hey, I told you it was going to come back to get you.
I know. He's from Maryland. He's from like 20 minutes away from me in Maryland. Like, yeah, he went to like a private boys' school.
Oh
I
God, that
mean,
could have.
he is my Mike Johnson kind of. It's fucked up.
Wow.
We all have horrible
If only he was
doppelgangers.
Methodist.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
God, if only. See him praise dancing and singing in the aisles, I imagine. He'd be in the handbell choir. Fucking loser.
Oh yeah, crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting emotional at the handbells, wearing the gloves, putting the gloves on with reverence.
Exactly. Those little white God, every handbell
Oh my
choir.
God.
You know it. You know it. It's the worst. Ugh.
It is fun when you see them tear up though. You ever hear one kind of go off? You're like, okay. There was some, my friend sent me a video. I have anybody that's like an ex-Christian, I feel like, uh, ex-evangelical is what I should say. Because that's always my thing.
Yeah,
Christian
yeah.
has never been a problem for me, but evangelical is a thing that
Yeah.
it's like, you're so up your own ass. But I have friends that'll send me a bunch of videos all the time that, and the handbell one was like, yo, do you
Mm.
remember these? And then I watched the video and I was like, this is actually the best handbell video I've ever seen. Like they were
They're usually
cranking.
trash. They're usually
It's like Judas Priest level, like
wow.
handbell. Like they're fast, they're cutting up. It's like, you know,
Okay.
some old ladies, but also some like very young, flamboyant men. And you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
God, that looks like such a fun group to be in, you know?
It's a whole
Yeah,
rhythm
they're
section.
hitting it, but they're like, oh my God, it's all in the wrist. It's all the snap.
Absolutely.
Ugh. I never did it, but I did. It did seem elegant. You know, it did seem like,
Mhm.
yeah, wow, you really got a firm. They're hefty. They seem like they've
Yeah,
got to be heavy. I don't know how those old ladies carry them
that's how you keep your bones strong. They're fighting off osteoporosis with the handbells.
with the handbells. Yeah, it's doctor's
Yeah,
ordered.
yeah, exactly.
You've got to do
His bones are so
it.
porous. I gotta hold the big E bell, and that's gonna do
Yeah,
the thing.
do three Hail Marys, and you think you can crank on this bell for a little bit? You
Yeah,
think you can
exactly.
just kind of let it rip?
I need like hot cross buns for the next 4 minutes at BPM 140. Let's go, girls. Let's get it.
No jingle bells. You remember the rules. No jingle bells. This is
Mm-mm.
only do you hear what I hear? That's the only thing we play on the bells.
Exactly. Amazing Grace over and over again.
What a song. How
Yeah.
sweet it is.
At my grandmother's funeral, her favorite song was Amazing Grace, but sung by Elvis. But the fucking pastor wouldn't let us play the Elvis version. And I
Because
got,
it's secular.
yeah, uh-huh. I was,
That's
yeah, yeah,
that
dude.
might be. I think you got to stab a pastor. That's
I,
crazy. He sang Amazing Grace. It's
I
Amazing
know,
Grace.
I know, but he swiveled those hips in the 50s. How could he?
It's not like your grandmother was like getting laid to rest and they're like, he
Oh,
ain't
yeah.
nothing but a hound dog. You know, it's
No.
like,
I
he's,
mean,
wow.
I was 10 and I was so livid. And if I had been older, goddamn, the fight I would have had. I was so mad the adults
Oh,
did.
yeah.
I was like, man, I I've gotten sad. I've had a lot of funerals in my life, and I've gotten pretty sassy with them as I've gotten older. Like I gave my mom died 11 years ago, and I gave her eulogy, and I just wrote at the top of it, "Riff on Priest" was like how I came to stage. I was just like, I was like,
Comic thing I've ever heard.
I was like, I'm gonna be sad. I don't know how to start this. Just write riff on the priest. You'll get into it that way.
You just look down and says, keep going. You're like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. You turn around. You're like, yeah, it looks like. God, smells like somebody died in here.
Yeah, exactly.
Trashy. Oh God, I love riff on Priest. Oh, that's so funny.
Hot
Have you
tip.
talked about that before?
I mean, not on stage. I should for sure.
Oh, riff on Priest is that's like such a comics. That's a comics comic thing right there. That's if you're
Hot tip for anybody. You got to
uh,
give a eulogy, a high pressure eulogy situation. Just like put a little joke in there for yourself, just to get in the right mindset. Because I was just
yeah,
like,
the priest can handle it.
yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna like go full roast mode. Just
I have the opposite
okay.
kind of story, and I don't ever get to tell this,
Ooh, okay.
but I gave the eulogy at my aunt's funeral when I was evangelical.
Oh, okay.
So I got asked to do it, but I'm kind of like I'm in my shit. I'm talking about death and Jesus Christ. So I
Yeah.
start giving this eulogy, and you can tell that I don't really know this woman. Like
Oh,
looking back,
yeah.
we were not like super close.
Hmm.
So eventually it becomes like kind of like, we all want to be careful and know where we're going when we move on out of here. So, um, my mom could tell that I was starting to go into like maybe an altar call or like, hey, do you want to accept Jesus? And my mom in the front, I will never forget this as long as I live. She just starts going like, hey,
Wrap it up.
doing the wrap it up symbol.
Oh,
She's like doing it's the first time I've ever gotten the light. It was like I was like a freshman in college, and my mom was like, yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. Nobody is trying to you're I don't know if you know this, but that woman in the casket only owned furs and had a bunch of gambling debt.
yeah.
So probably not the right crowd for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that look and that feeling lives with me forever. It's just like, yeah, just flat. Now that I'm a comic, it is very much. It's like, hey, you're done. I was supposed to do 10. Yeah, but you're getting the light at 7.
The crowd wasn't feeling it. Let's get you out of there. Come on.
It's not your time.
The wrap it up fingers. It's so funny.
Yeah, I'm really glad because that if I had crushed,
Oh, yeah.
if I had gotten the same feeling from that I got from I might just be a pastor.
No,
I
exactly.
might just be a funeral home director that you would yell at.
Yeah, exactly.
Riff on me. Just moving that little Catholic partition.
Yeah. Ooh, good.
The priest collar. That's funny.
I think we're all one wrap it up from being a priest or a lawyer. There's a few professions that I'm always like, were but a few things had gone differently, I'd probably be over there. Glad I'm not, but damn. I mean, a lot of
Yeah, I see all of my
ex-pastors tell me.
friends. I see all of my friends with all of their money and all of their kids, and I'm like, God, I really should have gone to law school with y'all. And then I go back and I visit them in our hometown, and I go, oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm out of here. All of my friends went to law school. I think
Wow.
like
Wow.
out of my groomsmen, I think I had like 7 groomsmen. I think like 5 of them went to law school.
That's
And
awesome.
everybody's like, what are you doing? I was like, nah, I'm not going to read. There's no chance I'm going to read
No.
that many books. It's not possible. It's not
Yeah.
feasible.
I'm gonna change my calendar update to hates reading. Okay.
Can't read. Can't
Can't
read,
can't
please.
read, can't read. All right.
Would have bullied you in first grade. Can you put that? Put
That's
that down as yeah. Would have been
absolutely.
mean to me.
Yeah, got it. Consider it. These are the notes I have on you.
I love talking about pegging in front of, because men get so, you can just hear the assholes pucker. Men don't like when you talk about peg. It's still some toxic masculinity. They don't like to talk about butt stuff in general. They get uncomfortable. It's so funny to get uncomfortable about gay things. Half of us are gay. They say it's 10%. We know the truth. We got to be more open about this stuff, right? We got to stop being so toxic. You don't just have to do dude shit to be a dude. You know, that's what people think. If you do dude shit, you're a dude. If you do feminine shit, that makes you gay. From the South, that's what everybody believed, was you got to do dude shit or else you're gay. And that's such a funny idea to me, because that's not like how gayness works, you know? Just because, you know, like people all the time would be like, yo, you're a dude and you like to cook. It's fucking gay. It's a real thought that people have. Could you imagine that if Gordon Ramsay was just gay as fuck this whole time? What's your kitchen nightmare, Gordon? It's covered in pussy. I'll never do a British accent. I'll never fucking do it. I just love that idea that people think that what you do could make you more gay. That's not how it works. You can't just manifest being gay. If you do some gay shit, that's just how gay you were. You don't get to go up a level. It's just how gay God made you. You know, it's not, you can't just will it into existence. I've tried. I wish, dude. I'd love to join a group. They seem like they're having a good time. You ever hung out with a gay dude? The coolest man? You ever worked with a gay dude? The only person in the world that has ever made work fun is a gay man. Because a gay dude at every job, no matter what job it is, they know exactly how much everybody is making. And exactly why they don't deserve it. And they will tell you about it. They're amazing.
Steven, I could talk to you forever. I'm going to wrap the podcast.
This has been great.
Yeah,
This has been so much fun.
An absolute delight. The special is out everywhere right now. It's called The Bottom Half. The album right now is up for pre-sale. It will be out everywhere this Friday. May 16th is when it comes out. And you can also find it streaming. But before then, buy a copy. You can buy it on Bandcamp. You can buy it on iTunes. You can buy it on Amazon. Yeah, and pick it up. Support local, delightful DIY artists, because that's what we're trying to do here. And where can people find you online and all of your stuff from when you come to their town?
All of my everything is at formerly Fat Steven. And that joke is in the special. If you want to see it, please go on YouTube and watch it. I sold the special, so it's going to be behind a paywall eventually. So please go watch the YouTube, and you can spend the money that you would spend on the album wherever you get that. All of my other stuff is The Unteachables, formerly Fat Steven, and I think that's pretty much it. That's all of my stuff now on Burn This Records.
Hell yeah. All right, everybody. We will talk to you next time. Enjoy your day. Bye.